Okay, Void, buckle in. We got a lot of ground to cover. Now, normally I wait till the series is finished airing before I complete it, with a couple exceptions, the forever ones. But honestly, I have no idea when or if this thing is going to complete because, my god. Okay. Saiyuki. Genso Maden Saiyuki. Series is still ongoing manga-wise, but anime, it's maybe sort of kind of finished for now, possibly. And this is, I think, 99% of it. I think there's like a couple one-off things that maybe aren't here, and I'll be reviewing the movie separately. But so we have Saiyuki, the original 2 seasons, Saiyuki Reload, Saiyuki E-Reload Gunlock, Saiyuki Reload Burial, Saiyuki Gaiden, Saiyuki Reload Blast, and Saiyuki Reload Zero In. Okay, there is a lot to cover here, and weirdly, this is not a concise, easy thing to follow. This series constantly reboots, reimagines, retreads. Okay, so we'll just start with Saiyuki. Okay, so essentially, the goddess of fate and those up in the heavens have commanded our group of ragtag miscreants to go west to stop the Demon King from being resurrected. And Genjo Sanzo, Son Goku, Chohakai, I'm mirrored, Chohakai, and Shagojo. Name's blanking for a second. Anyway, they're pretty much the only thing that's consistent in the series, so we'll just start there. So, these four are tasked with pretty much journeying across the fictional world of Shangri-La to go west and stop the Demon King. Okay, pretty simple plot. 3 of the 4 are half demon or demon adjacent. The other one is a Sanzo priest, which is like one of the most important priests. They guard the scrolls that pretty much founded the world, and these scrolls are a big deal. So, off they go west. Do they get west? Yes and no. In the first 2 seasons, the answer is clearly no. So, they are constantly opposed by Kogaiji, the son of the Demon King, and his group, who are essentially their main antagonists. However, well, at the same time, Kokaiji's not that bad of a guy. He just wants to resurrect his mother, which his stepmother is essentially lording over him, and she will essentially be revived when his father gets revived. So, while he doesn't really care about his dad, the Demon King, he just wants his mother back. And by the end of the series, they're more of buddies with the main group at this point. They just don't want to admit it. They keep helping each other out so many times back and forth. So, there's 2 main arcs to this one. The first one mostly just covers setting up everything, as well as then mostly dealing with Kogaiji's group, and then learning about the super powerful demon that Goku can become. Second arc deals with the war god Homura, who is essentially the replacement war god for the last one, who's come down to essentially fuck with the group and wipe out demons against the actual wishes of heaven. So the main group has to fight gods. Now, that seems important, but that part is maybe referenced one time in the remainder of this and seems almost entirely forgotten. The events of these first 2 seasons are rarely referenced in the remainder of it. They switched studios, changed artwork styles, and even the costumes that they're wearing in this one are not continued on throughout the rest of it. With the exception of one little joke that they pull on Reload, where some people who dress like them, some copies of them, are wearing their old getup. Okay, so the world of Shangri-La, also I should establish, the time period this happens is... Yes. So they're riding across Shangri-La in a jeep that is made from Hawkeye's his pet dragon turns into. Now they reference a lot of modern things. Everything looks very medieval China, but at the same time, everyone knows what the jeep is. They have computers, they have TVs and radios, they have cans of beer, lighters. So this happens every time, I guess. Every time period is what's going on here. Okay. So, the second part, Saiyuki Reload. Revamps the animation style, they clearly have more of a budget. Reload, the first half of the season, is filler. Does not amount to anything. The part after that does have a little bit of a tease here, as they go against God. Now, God is not actually God, but he's a disciple of a different Sanzo priest who has become like a god to several of his minions and is essentially trying to get the scrolls to effectively become literally a god. He is incredibly powerful, but very childish, and they kind of hint that he was trained by a Sanzo that was, well, that we've been seeing around that's been maybe Ni Genyi, the main scientist Reacher, a provocateur that's helping out the Demon King's resurrections. So, that's that season. Reload Gunlock. This one actually does seem to continue right after this one, so I'm okay here. We're still doing fine. This one mostly deals with the just trying to tell these apart now. There is a lot of filler in this one also, but this one mostly deals with the priest, I believe. Yes, the priest Hazel is kind of the main antagonist here. Sort of antagonist. Hazel is a priest from the west who's come to the east to kill demons. He hates demons. He's very racist against demons. But he has the power to essentially revive the dead. However, it's whether and how the state they come back in is still a little confusing, as they seem to be under Hazel's control and try to kill all demons, even if the demons aren't actually at fault. Now, the subtitles always refers to the groups as demons. Technically, yokai is the term they use, so they're people with pointy ears and claws and supernatural strength. It's kind of a catch-all term there. Now, the experiments to resurrect the Demon King have been driving all of them crazy. At least, there's several different things that have been causing this, but not all of them have been affected. But a lot of people view them as kind of ticking time bombs. There's a big racial element kind of undercutting all of this. Now, Hazel just wants to wipe them all out. And he pretty much uses their souls to resurrect people. But the people themselves, it's just how back they are is still in question. Hazel's kind of got he's trying to recruit Sanzo into his thing, telling him to ditch all the demons he's with. But it's kind of one of those, Sanzo's just not interested in this guy. And eventually this one deals with some forgotten memories of Hazel. And essentially the truth behind where I was going is revealed. And it's much to Hazel's dismay, he realizes that he may be the villain. With me so far? Reload Burial. Okay. Reload Burial and Reload and Saiyuki Gaiden. So this was a good 50 episodes for the first two seasons. Then we got 25 and 26, so a lot of ground that's been covered. And these ones are much shorter. It's kind of some OVA series. We got 3 episodes and we got 4. Now, Reload Burial is a bunch of vignettes just kind of giving you some interesting background about several of the characters. Nice, short, to the point. Saiyuki Gaiden fills in some of the backstory stuff we've been kind of hinted at of all the main characters being reincarnated from some people in heaven that essentially rebelled due to some misunderstandings and people's political motivations. So this one kind of concisely tells that. And it's a fascinating little addition. Reload Blast. Again, now we're continuing on. So this one, they actually get to the west. They get to the west. They meet another Sanzo, and they're doing what they can to do that. But the War God, whose name is escaping me right now, that's bugging me. Essentially, Nataku. Yes. Thank you, mysterious voice from the off camera. I don't know if the mic picked that up. Now, Nataku was very... Essentially, he's the war god, sort of puppet to his father. His only purpose is to go down and put down insurrections because the gods themselves aren't supposed to kill people. He's got clearance to. Now, Goku and him kind of become friends. And it's back in Gaiden. However, in Reload Blast, well, he's getting back up. Despite having been pretty much comatose forever, and now he's pretty much almost like a Terminator robot, just going down and wiping out demons. And pretty much the main cast is pretty much powerless to stop the powers of the War God. I mean, they fought a War God back in here, but again, we're completely disregarding this. And so it kind of leaves at a cliffhanger as they aren't able to quite stop him. 12 episodes in this part. So, at this point, we finally made a lot of progress. We're in the West. He's interacting with other Sanzos, where he's pretty much nearly at the Demon King's place. And the War God has stepped in, and we're maybe finally getting some interactions between War God Prince Nataku and Goku. Then we get to Reload Zero in. Remember all the plot lines here? Yeah, we're gone again. So this one, first, rehashes Gaiden. It pretty much retells almost everything we saw in Gaiden. Much shorter, more concise. But if you've seen Gaiden, you can skip the first bit of this. So after that, you think maybe they're just showing that to do it in a non-OVA form. Then we can get back to the cliffhangers we left at in Reload Blast, right? Right? No, forget those. We are now redoing Hazel. Yeah. The plotline from Reload Gunlock is rehashed in Reload Zero In. They retell it, beat by beat. However, they do it more nuanced. Hazel isn't a cartoonish caricature villain in this one. He actually stops, thinks, and wonders if he is right. Some things may be leaning him back and forth on that. And what's the actual truth behind Hazel is completely different. So it's like they differentiated from the manga and what they did in this one. So they realized, oops, we have to correct this because Hazel has a role still to play. So we pretty much take this one completely out of continuity and replace it with this. You with me so far? Because I lost me about 5 discs ago. So this is a lot of episodes. So it's a lot of commitment, and it can be kind of a frustrating experience with the lack of continuity, with how often they don't reference back to previous seasons. They do, some of the things do, but earlier seasons are completely forgotten. Plot lines are completely rehashed. It can be frustrating. That said, the characters are fun, and they're great to spend time with. They are all terrible people, but they're fun terrible people. Let's see, 50, 76, 90, 101, 105, 108, 11, 121, 133 episodes here. They finally got to the West, only to take it away from us. So things like that do make the series frustrating. That said, when they do rehash it, they do add a bit more to it, so I can't be completely mad. But sometimes it's like when a character shows up, I have no idea if the group is meeting him for the first time or the third time, or where they are in relation to each other anymore because they can't keep consistent. Reload Zero In just came out in 2022, so pretty new. So this has been a 22 years worth of Saiyuki. I'm not going to wait around for if there is more coming out before I just finally talk about this. So the series, there's a lot of it, and a lot of it is very entertaining. That said, pretty sure there's not a single straight character in this. Not a complaint, just an observation. Though sometimes some people will pretend they are, but the way these guys are with each other, they're practically all married. Okay. The animation is good, particularly in the later seasons. I will say Zero In seems to switch it up and go slightly different. Again, so it's like kind of retro anime, the first two. These ones are all done by very crisp and clean. And since they're going in like a slightly different style, it took a little bit getting used to, but it was working for me by the end. And this one does follow up on some of the things with Ni Genyi becoming a decent villain, so towards the end of this, particularly the end of the Hazel things, it is in a completely different direction, with one of the main villains finally making more of an appearance as a villain. That said, it was too little too late for me at that point. For me, I'm giving this one a 5 MacGuffins. It's fine. It's good. But those glaring inconsistencies make it hard to get invested because right when you're invested in the character's development, they're reset. Or they just drop that and move on to something else completely unrelated. And it can get very frustrating. For me, it evens out to about a 5. 5 MacGuffins. Saiyuki ad nauseum. I do have one more thing of Saiyuki to talk about, but since I always do anime movies separately, I'll talk about the Saiyuki movie in another video. Very soon. I have watched it. It's in the pile. Okay. I've spent enough time babbling on about Saiyuki. Give it a shot if you've got a lot of time to kill. I think the OG series is only available on DVD. I don't think this has been re-released since. While everything else is available on Blu-ray. I don't even know if it is out on DVD anymore for this one's. I mean, the movie I'd actually go hunting for because that was, I think, long out of print. Okay. Theme songs are bangers, though.